Well, once again, hopefully I have your attention. And I, of course, did the proverbial little dirty trick, and that is, my headline title. Now, oftentimes we're taught, have a headline that draws people in, gets their attention. And, of course, in our modern era, we've simply called it clickbait, and that usually is a bit of a pejorative, which means is we're trying to lead people on so that they will read the article or watch the video or listen to the podcast, and it may or may not deliver on the title. But that's what I did. Absolutely. My very attractive friend, Diane, had a business. She just recently removed herself and let the next generation carry on. But for sure, one of the reasons that she was successful was that Joe Biden would have been fired almost right away in her company. So now I have your attention, and let me tell you a little bit about Diane and why she was so significant, and perhaps why she was so attractive and successful. The program begins right now. Well, Diane is not her real name. It is a pen name, a stage name. And, of course, she knows who she is. But she's not passed on. She's very much alive. In fact, after being her coach for a number of years, her business was very, very successful. I believe I had a part of that. And then she decided what she wanted to do. And she just told me. She said, Stan, what I'm doing now is I am getting an A+ in retirement. I said, what an interesting idea. How do you get an A+ in retirement? Well, you know what? Diane, again, not her real name, will probably join us with her real name and tell us more about why she is getting an A+ in retirement. And by the way, I lived in a retirement community for some time, even though I was not retired. And let me tell you, a lot of people do not do well in retirement. There are a variety of reasons for that, and perhaps we'll talk about that sometime. But she's getting an A+ in retirement. Well, back to the subject. Okay, here we go. I helped Diane put together a business. She had her ups and downs in the financial services industry, and now she had discovered what she thought would be a very, very important market, and she was going to take the risk. And please keep in mind at this particular time in the industry, a woman was certainly a profound minority in the business. And obviously, with the good old boys who tend to hang around the insurance business, it was not always the best of situations for women. But she was a young woman and married, had 3 small children, and she was going to make her mark in the business. She was going to own her own insurance agency. And off she did, and it just so happened that I came into her life after my service overseas working in international mission broadcasting. And I was teaching a little bit about the idea of being one of the 3%. That is, that 3% of the population knows who they are, knows what they want out of life, they've written down goals, and they have a plan to be successful. But only 3% of the population are that way. 10%, that's not quite as clear, but they're pretty focused on what life should be about. 60% have just kind of hopes, wants, wishes, and prayers, and no plan. They just kind of land up doing what works in life. Hopefully it'll work out for them. 27% really don't have a clue. They barely deal with the day, and what happens, happens, and that's the way it is. Well, I gave that presentation as an encouragement for people to be one of the 3. Afterwards, she came up to me after the presentation and said, Stan, I want to be one of the 3. And she said, but I don't want to go to seminars. I hate seminars. And so would you just come to my office once or twice a month, at least once or twice a month, and I want you to teach me how to be one of the 3%. And then if it's working for me, I want you to teach my staff how to be one of the 3%. And so that's what we did. That's a long time ago. One of the things I asked her to do was when you start your business, don't get all into that mission statement right now. But based on who you are, and the company has your reputation, it has your style, it has your significance. It's all about you because people will buy you and your company because you're selling insurance. And everybody can buy insurance from anybody or nobody or even from a gecko on the online on the TV. That's right. Why should I buy it from you? Well, we sat down, and what I encouraged her to do is I said this, and I wrote it up. I said, this is what we value around here. Because I know she had some strong views about how life should be done and how business should be done and how the customer should be treated and how people should be treated. She was a woman of strong faith and strong values. She was tough, but she was really, really strong in the toughness of being right to others. And we did that, and as the years went by, she oftentimes said to me, Stan, you know, when we did the value around here, and I kind of wrote it down and I put it on my wall, and she said, in the years that have come and gone, I've discovered that when we've landed up in trouble for some reason, it was because we'd forgotten to look at that value statement. We'd forgotten to look at that piece of paper. Well, again, let that idea interest you and sit on your head. And maybe you in your life, in your business, should do exactly what Diane did, and that is to say, this is my company, this is my organization. I want it to reflect well on me, and I want it to be successful. I want people to remember me for being one of the best in the business. How do I want to be remembered? What do I value around here? All right, that's the frame. Let me tell you one of the statements she came up with. She said, we don't blame around here. We don't blame around here. And then she went on to tell me that one of the things she couldn't stand is when people did not take responsibility and they blamed others. They blamed the company. They blamed the customer. They blamed their colleagues. They blamed something else. And so she said, we don't blame around here. And by the way, we'll make it safe if perhaps we've done something wrong. We'll admit it, and hopefully grace and mercy will abound, but we don't blame around here. Well, just an offside from that, obviously our current leader has a problem with taking full responsibility. We're always hearing about how somebody else is to blame for the situation we're in. Something else, someone else. It's not our fault. We are not to blame. Someone else is to blame. We had a very talented salesperson who joined us, and she was quite good. Really helped out. But she had one distinct flaw, is that in her somewhat flakiness, but she was really, really good, is when something went wrong or something didn't get quite done or some paper didn't get filled out, she seemingly couldn't help herself. Immediately, she blamed others. We talked to her about that. Said, you don't do that. That's not what we do around here. And she got it. Okay. And then she did it again. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. And she did it again. And on the fourth time, 4 strikes, and we let her go. You're fired. You can't do that around here. We don't blame others. Well, I just want you to think about that, but here's something else that made the company successful. Obviously, she dealt with vendors, she dealt with customers, she dealt with colleagues, she dealt with friendly competitors, all kinds of things. Something goes wrong in every business. But then she also said, and we take the hit. That's right. If something got messed up and somebody has to pay the price, we'll be the first one to take the hit. Now, we won't accept the blame for something we didn't do, but when things happened and there's a dispute, we'll do our best. We'll take the hit. And I remember there were times when even though they could have fought a good fight about it, they might have even sued about it, she simply said, we'll settle. We'll take the hit. We'll take the hit. So, I just want to tell you, we've been talking about people we admire. She's a good friend as well as a former client because, like she said, I really don't need you anymore, but I still find you a little bit inspiring, so I like to talk to you. But the point is that in building her business and building a reputation, what do we value around here? And we don't blame around here. And we take the hit. Just let that sit on your head for a while, perhaps stir your mind, sink to your heart and touch your heart, and that interesting idea could be one of your keys to success. So think about it. We'll be right back. Thank you very much for your time. As I said, I finish up the program, and very shortly I'm getting in the car and taking a significant day drive to speak at the funeral of my good friend Bob, and I trust all will go well, and that I will do well and honor the man who certainly should be honored. Again, in terms of his own achievements and the way he treated others, certainly also another very attractive man. All the best and blessings to you, and we'll be back. Bye for now.